and welcome back, or welcome. I hope you're all good, doing lots of reading, staying very safe, you know, all that jazz hands. Today I'm going to talk about a book that was in my 5-star ratings. It was one of those books that I would say, I think I did have it, I think I did have it in my top 5 books that I've ever read. Which is a bold statement, I would say. I mean, those are the 5 books that I'm going to recommend to everyone, reread for the rest of my life, and they're always just going to be the ones that I go to on my bookshelf. Well, things are changing. Things are changing. So I decided to reread, after wanting to reread this for a while. Oh, I do excuse my voice. I do excuse my voice. This is what happens when you live alone and you don't get to speak to anyone all day. You end up like a husky male. But that's fine. We're going to battle through and hope by the end of the video I sound like a female. So this book is one that I've been reaching for, or wanting to reach for a couple of years in a reread, because I read this when I was a teenager at first. I mean, I'm 23, so I'm not decades out of teenagehood, really, am I? But that's a separate point entirely. And I was waiting to find it in a charity shop or somewhere cheap, because I didn't see the point, as I'd read it and it was such a big book, and I know that you can always get this book in charity shops. It's literally in every charity shop. I was like, I'll pay 50p, give the money to charity, rather than going and spending a couple of pounds on Amazon or Waterstones, which would be even more expensive, when I kind of knew what the book was. And I'm happy with a rough, you know, scraggly copy that I could take in the bath, things like that. It doesn't matter if I drop it, although, oh my God, I'd cry if I dropped a book in the bath. I mean, that's a bit dramatic, but I'd be really upset about it. So that book is The Time Traveller's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. This was in my top 5 books of all time. I was like, absolutely love it. I'd rave about it. If someone asked me, how's this book? I'd be like, oh my God, it's amazing. And I remember I used to watch the film lots as well when I first read it. I don't know whether I might have actually read it twice as a teenager. I'm not sure. I feel like the size of it, I wouldn't know if it's over 500 pages, and I didn't read that quick at all. So that probably would have taken me a month or something. I read a lot more than I used to. So I wanted to reread it because I'm trying to reread like all of my favourite books or all of my favourite authors. And this is just obviously on the list. If it's in my top 5 books, it needs to be reread. So I picked it up a couple of weeks ago. Bearing in mind we're in isolation, stay-at-home mode at the moment, I'm going through books quite a lot, but anything that requires kind of like too much of my attention and is kind of more taxing to read, I struggle. I have to kind of force myself, just because my brain is not all there at the moment. I've had so much uni work to do that I kind of exert my whole 1 hour of energy in a day to, you know, 3 to 6 hours of uni work depending on my mood, and then once I've done that I need something kind of light and easy to read. But I'm trying to get through these books that are on my TBR, so that's why I had to pick it up. So I started it and I was just like, this is wordier than I remember. It's very, very, very descriptive, which maybe is fine if you're not in stay-at-home potato brain mode, mashed potato brain mode. But I did persevere. It did take me a few days just to get up to page like 150, and I was thinking, gosh, this is 500 pages. It's going to take me forever, and I don't want books to take me forever at the moment, because I'm trying to like get through my Goodreads target like really quickly. So I was speaking to my friend, and he said that his the way that he was reading at the moment was to go and put little post-it notes through the book and be like, oh, okay, if I want to read this book, this is his way of doing it, if I want to read this whole book in a week, then see how many pages it is, say, I don't know, for example, 300 pages, and then 300 pages, divide by 7, roughly how many pages you need to read a day to have it done in a week, and then you figure out which chapter, like, end that is, roughly, and put in your post-it notes. So you get to the end of your little section, and you're like, oh, look how accomplished I am today, even though it's kind of taxing on your brain, or it's just encouraging you to read a little bit more. You feel accomplished when you get to the end of your little section. You take the post-it note out and you're like, I'm a boss at this reading game. I'm a boss. So I thought, well, why don't I do that? And I didn't want it to take me a week, although I think it has taken me a week in the end. But I thought, well, what's kind of achievable for me if I'm not really feeling it, which was 100 pages a day. So I put in my little sticky tabs for 100 pages a day. I've taken them out now because once I got to that point, I did do the little, yay, I'm a boss. God. So I did the 100 pages, which some days was a little bit difficult just because of my uni work schedule. But it's fine because I would maybe have a couple of hours break, or an hour break. Sometimes I do have a couple of hours break, and then read 50 pages sat in the sun, and then, you know, do the rest of the things I need to do for the day, sit back on the sofa and read another 50 pages. So it worked quite well. So coming back to the book, sort of talking about post-it notes in books. It's like arts and crafts, isn't it? So the first 100 pages or so, I know it's setting the scene, but I was just like bored now. And I've not been bored during isolation, so there was a lot to get my head around. A lot of setting the scene, which is, that's fine sometimes, just not at the moment. So I think probably the middle section of the book I was pretty much indifferent about, you know, it's just their life's going on, the time traveller and his wife, Claire, they're just bumbling about their life. The last couple of 100 pages, last 200 I would say, is where I was like, okay, this is where it's good, which might be why maybe I loved it so much last time I read it, because usually like the second half of a book is where it sticks for me and where I either love it or hate it. I'm not really so bothered about the beginning because I know there's always so much setting the scene and everything that goes on, introducing different characters, stuff like that. So the last 200 pages I was like, yes, okay, I get it now. And I did really enjoy those pages, and instead of, I think it was split into 300 page sections, and to be fair, I rattled through those and I did those in about a day and a half rather than the 3 days that I'd given myself. So I did catch up a little bit. So that was good. I enjoyed the second half, but because I've realised now quite how wordy, I don't know, over-described, can we say that? Over-described a lot of the things are. I'm going to take it out of my 5-star rating and it's going down to a 4-star. 4 stars purely because I like the storyline quite so much and I like what happens at the end. I think it's very well thought out and I just think it's a very clever book and how everything links back. And God, imagine writing this and trying to figure out like the age of all the people as you jump forward and back in time and the dates. And just gives me a headache thinking about it. God, my brain would hurt writing this book. Not that I can write books, but you know what I mean. If I was to, you know, write a book and boss writing books. I don't know, maybe that'll be like a publishing company. Boss Books. I'm gonna copyright that, no one steal it. I'm joking. So yeah, I am taking it down to a 4-star. I still like the book. Will I be reading it again? I don't know. I've already read it 2 or 3 times now, so who actually knows how many times I've read it? Definitely 2. Definitely 2. I do need to get hold of the film somehow so that I can rewatch that, because I really loved the film. So I do need to give that a rewatch because I don't think I've got that here. I don't think I've got that one. So I will do that. But overall, it's coming out of my top 5. I'm sorry, Audrey Niffenegger, the time traveller and his wife. I do apologise. It's a good book, but it's just coming down in my estimation, or has come down in my estimation. Like I said, I did really enjoy the second half, so I can't say too much. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, look at we got some weird nails going on. I saw on Instagram these like pastel, like spring colour nails, and I was like, oh, I love me a bit of that. That would be nice. But then the colours that I had were not pastel-y. I mean, this one is kind of pastel-y, the lilac and the pinky. But but it's all gone on awfully. I hope you can't see in the camera. I did it in a period of about 10 minutes, 3 layers of nail polish, as in base coat, colour, and then I had to do the top coat a few hours later before I was doing a Zoom quiz, and they've all gone bubbly. Those of you who paint your nails will know what I'm on about. When you do them too quickly and they get like, I don't know if it's like air bubbles or water bubbles because you've like washed your hands or something, but they're just full on bubbles, and one of them went wrong, so I had to do more layers, and it's just so thick. So we've got some interesting nails going on at the moment, but it's fine because we're in isolation and I'm not going to work, so I don't have customers and stuff judging me. It's fine, it's absolutely fine. Stop rabbiting on now, shall I? So that is my little chat about The Time Traveller's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. Going down in my estimations, by no means a bad book, still a very good book, but it's just making way for something else to go into my top 5, of which I'll have to reevaluate soon. Maybe I'll do a video on that soon, because I've read a lot in the past couple of years that have probably been in my top 5, so I might have to be a bit ruthless to make a new top 5. Yes, so that's that. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Let me know down below if you've read this book and what your thoughts are on it. Do you agree with me? Are you due a reread of it? Let me know in the comment section down below, or wherever the comments are. I don't know, I'm not good at technology. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.